Ooh. Okay. Let's see where I left off yesterday. Let's go like this. There's gonna be a monitor in my, or microphone in my face. You can hear me but not see. Is that good? What do you mean, how better? I didn't do nothing. Oh, you're a little bit behind. Okay, makes sense. All right, so where I left off yesterday. Hopefully that's not loud on your end. Lower that down on my end. I have a license to listen to this music. It's right here, YouTube. Don't copyright strike me now. Okay, so I can pick up a gun. I can pick up another gun. It becomes my active gun. And then I can use a scroll wheel to switch to guns. If I pick up this gun, I should drop the mushroom shooting gun. If I scroll to the blue one, pick up that, I should drop the blue one. Perfect. And then this one shoots projectiles. I'd smash like that. So next is the vending machine, and I don't know yet. I've given it a little bit of thought, but I haven't really come to a pure decision. So a part of me thought like that it should take a while for the item to be yours once you decide to purchase it. So whether you hold down or you click and hold or something and a little thing goes around. But now I'm thinking that maybe you don't have to like hang out here, like you make the selection and then you can then shoot or whatever, and you just have to wait, and maybe it spits out the item for you to pick up. So like you come here and then maybe, I don't know if I want to use like the arrow keys to select, or if I want to use just click.
Ooh, you got a good system going.
What's that?
You got a good system going.
Here?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not bad. Like I've added weapon swap, like Call of Duty.
Oh, nice.
You know how like if you have two, if you only have one weapon and you pick up another one, you keep that first weapon, but it's like in your backup, and you take the next one. And then if you have two weapons and you pick up another one, whatever the one is in your hand is the one you drop to pick up.
Yes.
Like I have that all implemented.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah, I'm proud of it. You get your headphones right over here on the wall.
Oh, okay.
Setzer, how you doing? Although the mushrooms go up through, this should go up through on the wall, right there.
I don't know how much you spent, but $6?
Oh no, they're $20, and I don't need your.
Oh shit.
It's fine.
Yeah, I'll get that. Alright. I thought they were cheaper. Because wireless headphones have been around for so long.
Yeah, but they're not like the Dollar General ones. Are yours broken or something?
No, you're allowed to wear one headphone on the floor.
Oh,
So it's like,
yeah, that's how it is at our work too. You're supposed to have like one ear open so you can hear if someone's talking to you or whatever.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like, oh my gosh, but I'm not allowed to have wired headphones either because if it gets caught in a machine, it gets.
That can be dangerous.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Well, enjoy.
Yeah, thank you.
Hmm?
Songs to that playlist.
Okay, so I think the projectile needs to be added. How do I say that? The to the collision. So like this one has projectile layer. Does this not have? Oh, it does. So I wonder why it collides with this one, but the mushrooms don't. Like I intended the mushrooms not to collide here. Setzer, is your game ready to play yet? So why then? Does it still call the collision enter if the physics engine? Oh, so what I'm thinking is happening is the on collision enter is still being triggered in the script, even though the physics engine is or isn't reacting. And that just causes this thing to be smashed when it hits this spot up here. Is that true? So here I'm going to just do debug .log collision dot name. Can I say name here? So what do you think, Setzer? Are we in our last games before AI takes over? Because if I can be all like, hey Grok, give me Call of Duty Black Ops Zombies, but in 2D in space against xenomorphs instead of zombies. and like, boom, there it is. I kind of should also put this I'm gonna put this in the mushroom also. Do I have it on collision enter? Of course I do, right? Because that's how I detect if so here nothing happens. Like it doesn't force itself to explode until it's touching a player. But in this one, it's basically anything, right? I just lost the on collision enter. That's the gun, not the projectile. It doesn't matter what it is, it just does it. This can barely handle a small amount of files. You'd have to pay thousands of dollars a month to get an AI session strong enough to handle a game with hundreds of moving parts. I think Elon Musk's idea is to charge something along the lines of like of a Game Pass fee and do that. The thing I don't see working is anything multiplayer, right? Because it would have to generate the same scene from two different views, and it's not doing that. Like anything you see, like that video that I shared, let me get it brought up here. I'm assuming, I don't know for sure, but I'm assuming that, can I go to the post? And the sound is horrid too. I'm assuming that nothing is physical. Like there's no models, there's no collision or whatever. It's just the AI drawing this over and over and over again based on your inputs. My concern though is as those cars go by, right, and out of view, if you turn, is it going to be like that Doom thing where like you just look away and then you look back and it's something different than what you were looking at a second ago because it's just redrawing it, reimagining it. And so like multiplayer, like if you weren't looking at the tank, for your sake, does the tank even exist? Can it shoot you if you don't see it? My guess is no. And I don't know how much better it could get. But it is going to get better, right? Because we laughed at the 2D art generator, and now it's getting pretty good. The amount of processing needed to generate even a small 3-minute virtual game is nuts. There's no way tens to hundreds of thousands of people could play a multi-hour game. Not yet. There are several problems with that video. The new Google AI game generator thing is able to remember things out of view. Wow, that's pretty good. But you can only do it for a couple minutes. Right. Because eventually it's going to have to purge something, right? And I could see, like, if you prompt it to be like 8-bit style, as you go on, would it slowly forget that you're doing like an 8-bit thing? Like, would it introduce a character that is then better than 8-bit? You think it's gonna go more that you build a game and you're able to use an AI filter on it that makes the game look true to life. That's a good point too, where you have you just basically block out your world, and then it's like, oh, this is a building, I'm going to put a nice texture on it, kind of thing. GTA 5, I remember they did that, where AI like enhanced it. I think they're even in modern games now. What is the Monster Hunter? I think every other, if you're like have a bad video card or not a great video card, every other frame is like AI generated, like it does the in-betweens. So if I hit single player multiple times, that's bad. Okay. It's raining here, so my internet might go out. I did this thing. I don't know if I told you. I took a survey, and I thought it was like an anonymous one. Like, you know how companies will hire a survey company just to get like an overall view, not necessarily like this customer hates you kind of thing, but like so many customers hate you. And it was about my internet, and I totally like ripped them a new one thinking I was anonymous. And then I got an email from my ISP. They're saying like, we're looking into these issues that you brought to our attention. I'm like, oops. Although I've already complained about it. They didn't say though if they found anything, but I left like a whole like detailed thing, like, you guys have already replaced the line from the telephone pole to my house. You've replaced all the lines in my house. This is like my own purchased hardware because 3 of yours you blamed for being faulty or whatever. Yeah, I still have the email, I think. It should be down here. Yeah. They're like, we're acting on your survey feedback. Hello, Spectrum customer. Thank you for taking the time to complete our customer survey. We heard that you were dissatisfied with your internet reliability. Like, oh, I didn't know that was you. Okay, so it's reporting solids. If I throw up through here, it does do the platform. So should I then figure out if I need to ignore the platforms? And how do I just do like how to in Unity in Unity, how do I tell in C# if a layer is supposed to collide with another layer via the physics 2D setup? Gosh. Physics 2D dot get layer collision mask and physics 2D dot get ignore layer collision methods can be utilized. More, please. Collision mask for layer 1 equals layer 1 dot value. Okay. Will collide equals this and that, so it's a bitwise operator. Oh, well, okay. Collision mask for layer 1. So this is the important part right here. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to store this at start. No, okay. I'm going to put this up here so I can see it both at the same time. It is an integer. Int my colliders equals this. Layer 1 dot value. Can I say this dot, is it the transform dot layer? Is it the game object? Okay. And then if it will collide, so it'll be if my colliders and collision game object dot layer, like that, doesn't equal 0. I gotta wrap all that too. I guess I don't have to do it like that. I can do that, right? No. So you don't like doing bitwise outside of that. Okay. That's pretty interesting. Yeah, I don't know if you can hear that. It's raining pretty good. Which sucks because I just washed my car yesterday. I made it rain, guys, by washing my car. I can't wait till YouTube tries to copyright strike me over this one. Or somebody tries to copyright strike me. There we go. And that just does a thing. Okay, cool. So back to the vending machine problem. So maybe I come up here and I get an E. So I hit E to activate. I'm free to leave, which would remove the menu for the purchases. And so I hit E, and then I have a menu come up. I don't know what the menu should look like though. And as long as I'm standing in front of this, I'm free to do whatever I need to do. But the moment I walk away, that's canceling out the menu and it goes away. Should it still look like this? I think these should be brought in a little bit closer to so I know they're around me. And maybe it should be like 1, 2, 3, 4, like an arc up here instead of like around me. And if that's the case, I can almost have more than just 4, right? I could do a lot more. That might be a little harder to take care of, or not, depending on how I do it. But I do need a background or something around them to let, like, to the clickable object. It would almost be cool if they like in a in like some RPGs, like the older ones, where you go into the store and the items are just there, and you can just walk over the ones that you want, and if you can afford them, you take them. I don't know if I want to do that though. And I kind of like the thought that I had before where you gotta like hold the arrow button down for the one you want to purchase. However, I don't want to stick the player here. So I think you press the button or you click the thing and then it goes away and you have like this one thing that's like loading the item that you purchased, and then it's freely available. Well, yeah, so that's kind of what I was thinking, like not necessarily shoot, but you click on the one you want. Oh, that's not supposed to happen. Also, why, if it's colliding, why isn't it blowing up? Like you click on the item, yes. I don't know about shooting, because what if you don't have any ammo? And for guns that have limited ammo, I'd hate for you to waste one by lobbing a mushroom at it. Okay. So I need 2 circles. I need one for the background of the ones that you can afford, and one for the background of the ones that you cannot afford. But then, like, man, I kind of wish I could think of a way to do kind of like a vending machine. How many? Let's close this. Open up this one. I guess I don't really want a vending machine. I kind of want, what do I want to call it? A soda machine? Yeah, so instead of having like a circle of things, can I zoom in? Have like these rectangles pop up, and each one is like a label of the gun or something. I think for now, only because I want to progress through this vending machine thing, and I've been putting it off for like what, 3 weeks now. I'll do the circles with the icon on it, and you click on it to purchase, and then have some sort of progress bar, and then so there's a thing, if I drop it, then you have to hit E to pick it up. What happens if you try to pick up something that's overlapping another thing? Like, so somebody purchased a gun but they didn't pick it up, and then you purchase something and it gets spat out on top of theirs. Right, okay, I want my gun. Okay. It's not bad. I didn't intend it to work, but even though there's 2 up and down arrows, I am only swapping out the top one with whatever's there. I don't know what would happen if there were 3. Would I pick up 2 guns? So that's kind of like my dilemma. Should you have to stay there? Yeah, pick up 2 guns automatically. When it's until it's done. And if you don't, does it cancel the transaction? Do you only get pay? You only pay when it's complete, or do you pay to start it? Okay, here's the idea. You pay, you select the gun, that gun gets loaded. It takes however long it takes, and then it's there. Then you have to hit E again to take that gun. If there is a gun there and somebody comes up to it and hits E, they take it. Right. And maybe I'll do some kind of priority thing. Like if you're standing there and you're the one that purchased it, nobody can come along and hit the E button and take it out from under you. But if you walk away, nobody else can use that machine if there's a gun there. So they take the gun, then they use the machine to make a purchase. Or I really hate to do this to the player. Like, yeah, exactly. But I really hate to do that to the player. Like, if they get hit and they get out of the way, like, I still kind of want that to be theirs. So maybe only they see it. The player who purchases it sees that gun. And yes, Miguel, it disappears over time. I kind of like that. How are you doing, Miguel, by the way? Okay, so let's do that. So I want to go up to it and hit E. I want to have a list of things. So let's go make a circle. I'll do that in Krita. I already have the circle for the mushroom explosions. I wonder if I can recycle those. Good. That's good. Haven't seen any updates except for besides like the clips that people are sharing in your Discord. So how's your game coming along? You added a fishing thing, right? This is how big? $16 by $16. The gun's like 17, but I think it's okay if the gun overlaps. So I'm going to save this as in the UE. I'm going to call one like vending affordable. Pretty good. You're working on crafting the fishing pole. Okay, cool. And then more fishing. So the fishing aspect of it is kind of like a whole other game in itself. Is that right? Like was there like a little 2D thing going on that I've seen? Let's see, I don't want quite like green, but I also don't want ugly either. That's not ugly, right? Okay, so I'll save that. And then I'm gonna save it as unaffordable. Is that a word? It's unaffordable. And I kind of like, again, I want red, but not quite. Do I want it on the purple side or the orange side? Oh, that's her. Yep. Cool. And that's that, guys. Yes, it's pretty much another experience for those that just like to relax and just fish. So this is in... Are you going onward with the Game Jam game that you did, where you're on the island and you have to drink water, you have to eat too, I believe? And if you're fishing, does it pause those requirements? Okay, so the vending machine maybe should have a reference to the affordable and not affordable, or do I just put that like in the environment? Because this kind of has like that stuff. I'm gonna put it in the vending machine, because then we can theme those buttons along with the vending machine if I want to do that later. Yes, it would pause the game pretty much and just have the mini game playing. That's kind of cool. I have this like thought for a 3D game where, well, you're a 2D person that lives in a 2D world, and you have like you're doing this experimental thing with these scientists, and they basically teleport you into their computer like mentally, and it's 3D, and it's like a whole new like dimension for you. But the thing is like then aliens from a real 3D world use that as a portal to try and get to the 2D world, and they hack the game that you're in, and the only way to stop them from coming into your world is to defeat them in the game. And the scientists on the outside in your world are trying also to hack the game, and you have to go complete these mini games in order to unlock these areas where the scientists can then give you weapons to help you beat the aliens. And so in the world, that the game world, everything is like 2D sprites, like Doom or whatever, right? So everything is 2D or flat textured, but the aliens are 3D models. So you wouldn't, I don't understand, you wouldn't freeze the controls, so you can still walk around and maybe walk away, is that right? And look like behind you, is that what you're saying? Oh, but the banger of the game, my thing is, as the player, you don't really realize that your character lives in a 2D world until you beat the game, and then you see like the 2D interaction of him and the other people, and your character being like, man, it was so weird looking and blah blah blah. I thought that'd be cool. Like, you realize that the way it looked was because your character was actually living in a 2D world. Like the WASD buttons would work on the UI game. Anchor. Oh yeah, okay. Of course, it wouldn't freeze your mini game. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, so the vending machine itself is going to have the affordable and unaffordable backgrounds. So I'm going to do serialized field. Private sprite affordable background. I think I want a header here also, like theme or something like that. Then another serialized field. Private sprite unaffordable background. My game is looking great though. Keep it up. Keep at it. I hope to keep at it. I hope that I can keep the scope down enough to complete it. I have like all these ideas. They just like hit me like, oh, maybe I can do this, I can do that. And it's like I write them down and then I'm like, man, what am I doing? I'm just gonna make this thing like so bloated that it's never gonna get done. I am giving myself 2 years though, I think 2 years to completion is fair, and really I think by the end of this year I want to have most of the mechanics done, and by mid next year I want to have all of the mechanics done, and I just want to have the rest of the time to do graphics, maps, sounds, story, that kind of thing, but not add any more mechanics to it and just finish the game. Polish. Bro, you're probably further from the United Kingdom than I am. Or bruv, I hate that. Also, I fixed the font size yesterday. I noticed it was like super huge. And I think 2 years will give me enough time to really focus on, give me time to learn where to focus my energy when it comes to marketing the game. Vending machine, here we go. So I need that. Let's go here to my sprites. And it'll give me time to build up a following in which to market my game to, hopefully. Outside of other game developers. Because right now I'm just, yelling into the wind, preaching to the choir. Trying to sell my game to people who are trying to sell me their game. That kind of thing. Did I put it in the UI? So if I select both of these, I can do this all at once, right? 32 pixels per unit. Affordable, not affordable. Okay. So when I come up to it, I don't have anything that says hit E, right? I don't think I have that on here. So let me double check. He's doing that thing again where he's like a weird glitch. He's stuck facing that direction. Okay, yeah, there's no E to interact. I don't know why that happens. So I need that as well. So let's go into here. And private. This is a game object. E to interact. Is interact, not like anyone's going to see my spelling. It is one R. I spelled it right. Move my music up here. I have to save. And then that would be in prefabs. Press E. Goes here. Okay. And let's go edit the vending machine script on collision enter, on trigger enter, huh? I do want it to be like you have to press a button to start interacting with it, right? Because if you walk in front of it and the things appear and you accidentally click on one and buy it and like spend your money that you were saving for something else, that would be bad. On collision enter. Okay. On collision stay 2D. Sorry, let's start from the beginning. On collision stay 2D, if do this player character PC, yep, if collision try get component, that's so annoying. Try get component, yeah, out PC. Like, why is it a collision here? Oh, because it's a trigger. On trigger enter 2D. Bro. What is wrong with you? Oh, okay. How about on trigger stay 2D? Yeah, what is wrong with me? And then player character PC, yep. Deja vu. Collision dot try get component. I don't need to say player character because you know out PC. then if this is weird. I don't know if I need that. I'm not going to use that over here. I'm going to say if pc.isLocalOwner. So that means in the multiplayer environment, if that's me, not my friends I'm playing with, then here I want to display the E. So let's do that. And do I need a reference to it? Private. Yeah, okay, I will. Private game object, press E equals null. And then press E equals instantiate. Instantiate E to interact. Do I need a better name for that? Press E prefab. That's what I'm going to call it. Press E prefab. Bada bing. Okay. And then like press E dot transform position equals transform dot position. Should the offset be private vector to press E position? I'll call it local position. And then transform dot position plus press E local position, like so it's an offset. And it's a vector 2 versus a vector 3. So, okay. And then if I leave, I destroy that. So destroy. Destroy press E. And then, so it does itself, it goes up and down, right? Okay, sorry. This has its own script that makes it Bob. So in the vending machine, oh, so this is the transform position right here of the vending machine, because it's like a 32 by 32 sprite, and that's kind of center. So I'll leave that 0 for now, but I do need to assign this prefab. Okay. And in the stay, if I press E, I need to also destroy, press E. So if input dot get key down, oh, and on trigger stay, because it's a physics-based method, I wonder if it doesn't get called every, frame. So if will it get key down actually, and I don't want to say key code E, I want to say like environment dot, is there a key map? What do I call that? Key bindings, not environment though. So it's like key bindings dot so is it instance? Okay, dot interact one, or like this, or input dot get key down interact 2. And this is also if I'm not currently interacting with it. Like I don't want to keep being able to hit the interact key. So maybe I say if this is the local owner and press E is not null, right? Because it's not destroyed, it's been instantiated. Okay. It says I am signed out. Oh. Did I end it? No, it says live now. Okay. So if that's that, then I can show all the things that you can purchase from it with the correct backgrounds. Destroy the E, right? So like destroy like that. I have a PC variable that's kind of funny. It was like destroy PC. It didn't look good. Get this on charge. Okay. All right. Do I have a method that does that already? Upslot.set item. Oh yeah. See, that's the ugly thing here. I think instead of trying to figure out like if there's only one item, then it's the up slot. If there's two items, then it's the up and down. If there's three, then it's the up, left, and right. Maybe I figure out like how to divide this like semicircle based on how many items there are. Right? So I'm gonna not have up, down, left, right slots, but maybe I create two prefabs. One's the affordable, one's the unaffordable, and I tell it what icon to show, and then it can do like the on click or something. What if you're playing with a controller though? Like you'd have to like aim at the thing and shoot it. What if instead, how does Fortnite work? How does Fortnite do the thing where you hold down a button and there's like a whole bunch of stuff that comes up, right? And you just kind of hold in the general direction, and it picks that one, right? So can I still do that with my thought? Where I have this like circular thing, and maybe I favor like one would be in the center. If there were two, then the offset would be like center minus like 7 degrees or something. So this would be 14, and like negative 14. This would be positive 14 degrees, or like 7.5. So we'll do like even 15, then be like 30, 45, and so forth. Yeah, so if you're using a controller, I will implement a thing when I get to that point that makes it easy to select. Instead of like trying to aim at it, you just kind of press in the direction that it is. Okay. This, however, is going to be garbage. And this left, right, up, down stuff is also... I'm going to break this long before I fix it. Sorry. List of items. See, that's perfect. Let's get rid of this. And yeah, lots of errors. Dude, I spent like 2 weeks for the mobile warehouse app that's like on their smart guns with features that I couldn't publish because I had this one screen that I was like totally rewriting, and I was like, I didn't finish it, but what I did was like all this stuff that was like old legacy code. Like I'll figure it out later. I just commented it all out and then published it. Like I have like the old screen still there, but I like duplicated it and tried to rewrite it. And I'll get there. And the only reason that it needs rewritten is because like when the warehouse, we do these things called pull tests. So they have a wire and they feed it into a machine, and or they use a tool and it gets an end crimped on it. Then to test it, they're actually testing the machine or the crimp tool. They take it to another machine that crimps onto it and it tries to pull the end off. And if it doesn't within a certain amount of like pressure, then it passes. But anyways, the way it's written now is every time that piece is used, it gets added to this list. And then when somebody in the warehouse goes to replenish those, that's when that list gets closed. And then that piece can, if it's used again, it starts a new list. And each time that same piece is used, it adds to that list. But that's like for the entire building, that one list. And it prints out like one label for the entire list. And they don't know like who gets what. So even though I can figure it out in the database, like by looking, I can tell who gets what. It's just almost impossible to figure out with the legacy logic. So I'm just going to rewrite it. And so it'll figure it out that way. And I did that. That part works. But then it's like, I'm having a hard time wrapping my head around when is the pick done. Like, because you can run out of things to fulfill, or you can run out of inventory and still have things to fulfill, and vice versa. So it's almost done. Okay, start garbage. So when this thing loads up, maybe I should have a list of vending machine slots. I'm going to keep that. That script, but I might have to rewrite some of that. Vending machine slots equals new list vending machine slots. So what I will do is these will have game objects. Yep. So instead of being affordable slot, is that what I'm gonna call it? So sorry. This is the list that you fill in the inspector. So when the game starts, I want to take that list and create this list. And I'm thinking they're going to be game objects that are physical on the screen, and their position is going to be set depending on how many there are and what the index is. But then I need a reference to, maybe it's not going to be vending item slot, sorry. Maybe it's just going to be a game object. And those game objects have the vending item slot on them. Yes. Kind of like that. And I don't know, am I allowed to just go over here and start doing things when I have an error there? It's kind of big. Where'd you go? Okay, this layer, is it in-game user interface or just regular user interface? I'll make it interactable. How about that? How about that? And sorting layer is going to be the user interface layer. There's also going to be another sprite renderer, or should it be a game object that's separate? There we go, that works. So inside here, I'm going to add another game object. And this is just going to be item sprite. This actually should just be called like vending item, and I'll have in the vending item slot maybe a link to the active and inactive here. And a boolean that says, like, when I show it, I toggle that, and maybe in the process of toggling it, it will change the background to whichever one needs to be done. Yes. I'm kind of at a point though where I can't go very far unless sprite renderer. I mean, that can go there, but then I can't make any more changes until I fix these errors. Update this character equals null and blah blah blah. This is if I walk away, right? I didn't comment that. And interact. So we're not interacting with it here. Do I do what I did at work? Do I just kill this all this code? I'm just gonna comment it out. I don't think I'm ever gonna need it. I might need to refer to it. That's about it. Okay, so in the vending item slot, do I just make a vending item? No, forget it. I'll stick with this. Sprite render is assigned in start. Oh, okay, fine. I have an item. I do. So what I need is not to assign the sprite renderer, or have another one like a public sprite renderer. This is going to be item sprite renderer, like so. And now we'll unassign the sprite renderer. If it was public, like, it doesn't have to be. Right, if I'm assigning it in, yeah, and I'm requiring that it has one. If I'm assigning it in start, it doesn't need to be public. Like, it can take care of itself. I will have a reference to the sprites that are going to go in it. So like sprite affordable background and sprite unaffordable background. Too rich for my blood. Okay. Yeah, so it doesn't need that sprite. Why don't I have it? Oh, that's the vending machine. Vending item. Vending item. I didn't make them public. They don't have to be public either, so there we go. They have appeared. So this goes here. This goes here. I can leave the green there. Right, just as a reference. And then so the item sprite renderer is this one. And I also need the item itself. That can be public or internal. Right, so it's going to be assigned by the vending machine. It'll divvy out the items to each vending item slots item. Has item is no longer a thing, right? Because that was for, like, I had 4 slots and not all 4 slots were going to be filled, but now I'm just going to have the same number of open slots as it has items. Set item, this dot item equals item. Okay. So this doesn't need to be internal. It can be private. Sorry. Right. And then there's get item. There's show item. Sprite render dot enabled equals true. There's 2 sprite renderers now. So do I also have to say item sprite render dot enabled equals true? And there's also this one for hiding. Get item. I don't know if I like that bit, but that'll probably be replaced as well. Okay. So that's going to be a prefab. Oh, I also need is affordable. So do I it's given the item. Does it peak at the player's money? And where is that variable? Points. So that's player character. So if I do like the show. Oh, credits. I like that. Okay. So if credits is greater than or equal to item dot points cost, let's call this points. Compare the credits with the cost of the item. Maybe we want to put a red border around. Hey, past me. Thanks. Then sprite renderer dot sprite equals affordable background. Else. And I don't think I need to Oh, I'll have to have like a variable for affordable. Sprite render dot sprite equals unaffordable background. So if I try clicking on it, I need to know if I can afford it. And is it possible that the player would gain more money while standing on the vending machine? I think it is. So what I will have, I'm gonna have to have a link to the player character, not just the points. I just call it player, and then so if player.points is that. I also want to have it up here though, so like a private player character. No, sorry. This is going to be points once again. I will leave it up to the vending machine to keep track of the player's points, and I can continue showing this over and over again if the points change, and then at that point it'll decide whether or not it needs to change the background. So I do have to, in the vending machine, go through these items and create the vending machine slots out of the vending item prefab that I need to create. Where's my, I don't have a vending machine in the prefabs yet, but okay. Yes, okay. Is the vending item slots that sprite render is public? It can be internal. I think. Okay. So there's no better way to find out than just start going. So for each item in items, so I need an offset, and yeah, it's going to be, unfortunately, in degrees. So is it a float? No, it's an it is a float. Float offset equals items dot count divided by 2. Straight up and down, is that 90 or is that 0? I think 0 is probably facing right, like 0 degrees. So like 90 degrees minus this, and this needs to treat this as a float. in order for it to come out as a float, right? Oh, you know what I could have done? If you divide an int by a float, does it come out to be a float? I'll call it a float anyways. Okay. So there's that divided by half. That's the offset. And then I need to say float step. And this is the how many, right? Oh, wait. Yes, 90 minus this number times the step. The step is, I already said, was going to be like 7.5. Here's the problem though. If it's 1, I just want it to be at 90. This calculation needs to come out to be 0. So is it this? So the item count -1, there's always going to be at least 1 divided by 2. So if there was 2, that's 1 divided by 2 is 0.5 times 0.75. That might not work either. Okay. Let's not do that. I'm going to say offset. We're going to start with items.count times 7.5 that gives me the total, items.count -1. That gives me the total length in angles and degrees. Am I just going to come back to the thing I just said? So like 90 degrees minus this whole thing divided by 2. So that's the starting position, angle of the first item. So if there's only one item, it's 90 degrees. If there's 2, that makes a 1 times that 7.5 divided by 2. That's where it might get ugly. I might have to just change that to 15. Yes, because I'm dividing it by 2. If I just leave it 7.5, then I don't have to divide by 2. Because that's halves. Okay, I think. We'll find out. Now, I can't do this. I need an int to keep track of that. Yep. Thanks. So float this offset equals offset plus I times 15. And then, so vector 2 is there is transform dot position dot oh, is it transform dot no, I thought there was an X and Y that was now accessible. Anywho, float X equals mathf dot cos. Wow. Wowie wow wow. Okay. Times, go like 0.75 and float Y times point. It knows me. Okay, and then I need to instantiate a new game object. It's not the press E prefab. It's going to be I didn't create a variable for that. It's going to be a game object as well. So there's that. And this is all private, so I might as well just put it here. Serialized field. This is a game object, and this is going to be the vending item slot. Vending item slot prefab. Vending item slot prefab, and then go dot transform position equals, do I set the parent? I say yes. Okay, go dot transform dot parent equals transform. That's me. And now I can set the local position. Equals a new vector 3, x, y, and 0. Y might need to be brought down a little bit, but we can experiment with that. And then I need to add that to the list of vending item slots. Can I do that? Is vending item slots game objects? Yeah. That can be like down here. I need to get the vending item slot code component. Go dot get component. Yep. And now I can say like slot dot item set item is items I. Show item points. Okay. Do I want to just show them right now, just to save me from having to go up there and interact with it? Or do I want to make it so I have to interact with it to get that out of the way? So I go over here and I press E to interact with it. On trigger enter, on trigger stay. Here we go. I'm going to destroy the E, but I'm going to show all the vendor item slots. So for each, and these are game objects, slot in vendor item, vending item slots. What's my variable? What's my variable again? What's my variable again? And that. That was weird. Okay. And then so like slot dot get component vending item slot Drake dot show item, and it's kind of like this character dot points. Is that it? No. I have to go back and reassign everything inside the vending machine now, I think. Real quick. Now that I see this needs to go away because it's now there, down here. This needs to know that thing. Nice to meet you. And there's a particle system that right around here that explodes. That's this guy. There it is. Wow. Yep. Okay. Delete that. One thing I need to know. Yes. Okay. Wasn't sure if I assigned it, and then I was like, what are those things? And those are just generic rectangles that do nothing. So let's go over here. Walking up to it should bring up the E. Okay, so that is a little low. So if I just go over here and say 0.25. Is that, I know it's not going to change it like permanently, but that's better. But not perfect. So 0.55. Yes. Okay. So then I hit E. And nothing happens. Okay. Let's put this, make that official. Why did nothing happen? Oh. I'm telling you. It's the on trigger stay. So what I'm going to do is not do the on trigger stay. I'm going to put this in update. I'll take those and I'll delete that. For a second there, a part of me said I'm gonna have to go back to the designer and delete that from the thing. Like if you're doing a Visual Studio project and you delete a built-in method, like the on-click of an object, you have to go to the designer and remove that reference. I think that'll do it. Okay. So there's a thing. I only have one. Item left, item right, item up, item down. Those I can delete, right? These four. Let's go to the scene. Are they all just kind of... Oh. Why are you there? And why is a sprite? It's affordable. They should not be. First of all, they should not be the item. They should be one of these two sprites. So let's delete those. Those are not needed. Right, so this and this should absolutely show up because they have sprites. They have item sprites, and these like generic weapon things have sprites as well. They're just rectangles. They don't have spawnable prefabs, but that's okay. When I press E, I say show item. Go to definition. They were kind of scattered throughout, which is fine. I'll figure that out, but I set the sprite renderer sprite to one of those, and then the item sprite renderer just to enable to true. And set item, this might be where I'm messing up. Sprite renderer equal get component sprite renderer. So we already do that in start, I was going to say, but I'm up here to have a start. Sprite renderer dot sprite equal item sprite. Yeah. Okay, so it's not sprite renderer, it's item sprite renderer, and that's already assigned in the inspector. Okay, just looking some things over, sorry. Maybe, hopefully. Oh, even better. Nothing showed up. There is one item in here. It's not very far away. Its bright is vending machine affordable. Oh no. I was like, what if it's in 3D and I can't see it because it's sideways or backwards, and that's not the case. I thought it was falling. Okay. There's nothing wrong with that spray. Oh. Is that not working here? I have a sprite renderer. That's assigned here. Item sprite renderer is assigned in the prefab. Am I getting any errors? Vending item slot set, blah, blah, blah. Object reference not set to an instance of an object. So is it, which part is it? Is it the item sprite renderer? Or is it the item sprite? And does that cause the rest of this loop to stop working? So in this has an item, they all have item sprites. So let's go to the prefabs folder. Let's take a peek at this. This needs a reference to that sprite. This needs to be public, or it needs to be a serialized field. Because it can't be assigned if it's not. Come on. Okay. Item sprite. Item sprite. Okay. Was that it? What's this green thing? Oh, perfect. Getting close. Okay. I still don't have the guns in there, but I have a feeling that they're actually behind. Yeah. They're behind the wall. So we'll do it like this. This sorting layer is user interface, but this needs to be ahead of this one so that it appears in front of it. That's it. I'm gonna have those two ugly boxes. I'll go ahead and replace those with the other two guns that are not a part of that, and they shouldn't be visible right now. What is your damage? Of course they are, because I don't hide them. Slot.hide item. Oh, I know why it's so scattered. It's because my math is in degrees, where sine and cosine is in radians. So this needs to be like that whole thing times math f degrees to rads, like that. Also, I think they start down at like 90 is positively going clockwise. So I'm gonna make this negative 90 to start in the up. Let's do this. We will start with what I gotta do. What do I gotta do? Go here, go to items, and add 2. No, I'll add just 1 item for now. Right, and then we'll see where that goes. And apparently it's going down, but it should be like perfectly down here. Maybe I should spawn by the vending machine. Okay, cool, it's there, and the gun is on it. That black circle should maybe be a dark green circle so that the gun is a little bit more apparent. Or should the circle be bigger? Maybe. We'll find out. I'll do some experimentation. Okay, now let's add another item. That was the SMW, so we add this one. And let's take a peek at what that does. Okay, so it looks like they are not 15 degrees apart. And I'll change that 90 back to that. So do I say offset is that times 15? No, right? Because I got to divide it in two so that it appears half on one side and half on the other, I think. Items dot count times short is. Should I be doing like 30 degrees? No. Okay. They are equally spaced. But is that now a 15-degree difference? It's not quite 45. So let's. I kind of hate to do that. And what is 45 divided by 2? 22.5? Okay. So now let's add the other two things. This is a real weapon. This is an energy thing. And I can get rid of those dummy ones now. Yes. I kind of think they should be bigger. Or if the mouse is over them, should that make it be bigger? And then when you're using a controller and you push in that direction, it can make that bigger. Let's try that. I don't know if I'm gonna implement the anxiety inducing waiting for the vending machine to vend the item. I still need to, though, I think, for the sake of inducing anxiety. Okay. vending item slot needs to do a distance check between it and the cursor. Let's go to mouse cursor, and this is just, that's just doing a thing. Does that mean the player character has a reference to it? I could have just had like a static vector 3 or vector 2 even. That's so weird. I'm just gonna do that. I'm gonna have an internal vector 2 mouse position, and then mouse position equals transform position. That's in the real world. Oh, static. And here, vending item slots, I'm gonna need an update. If sprite renderer dot enabled is false, return. I don't know how much processes that'll use in big maps that have a lot of vending machines, but hopefully not too many. Maybe the vending machine. Maybe the vending machine should take care of that instead. I still need some of that, right? Because it's going to tell me how to purchase the item. So if Pressy is not null, then I can hit the button there. Here, I need to say I need to set a variable that tells me that the showing items is items displayed. That'll work. Is items displayed equals true. And then if is that equals true. Do some stuff here. I need that when I walk away. Hide items, like do that, and then is items displayed is false. I also maybe kind of need, like Miguel says, to destroy the item after a while. And I also kind of like the idea of being able to purchase the item and walk away so that somebody else can get it. Right? So like you're buying it for one of your teammates. So there's going to have to be like an item, like it's storing the item somewhere. And that makes it available to everybody as soon as you walk off, if they get there in time. Otherwise it's locked. They can't purchase anything until that disappears. So it would have to be a private this item. I'm sorry, private item this item, and at first it equals null, and that's how we know, like if there's something to get. And then we'll need like a float reset timer, and that'll be a 0 for now. Once something is purchased, then we'll assign this item and we'll set a timer. When somebody comes up to it and presses E, if that timer is no, if somebody walks up to it and presses E, if the item is not null, and if you are the owner, you get it. If you're not the owner, you can only get it if the owner is not currently standing on the vending machine. Like they have to walk away in order for the teammate to get it. That's going to be a rough one to implement, I think, across the board, across the network, to set which instance of the players is the owner at that time. This song is kind of annoying-ish. So is item displayed equals, if item displayed equals true, then if we're displaying the items, see, let's check which one the player is selecting. And then in here would be like the if mouse down, or interact 1 or 2, shoot 1 or 2. Okay. For each game object slot in vending item slots, and then this is the one that gets, yeah, that. If, oh, how about like this? I'll say trying to say game object closest to, no, how about this? I don't need to go through them all and find out which one is the closest match to the mouse cursor, because I can just say the one that the mouse is over or close enough to is the one that is closest to. So if like vector2 dot distance between slot dot transform dot position and so this is mouse cursor dot mouse position. Can I just say rename this? Mouse cursor dot position is less than it's half 0.5. Then I can do some stuff and I break out of the loop here. Oh no, and I'll tell you why. Else, so slot dot transform dot local scale equals vector 3.1, and this is slot dot transform dot local scale is times 1.25, like that. And then I'll need a thing that says in here maybe is where I can check to see if the mouse is down. Like this is the one that the mouse is over, so if input dot mouse button down, get mouse button down, thank you, 0. And then here we'll purchase the item. And this is going to be a big if, like if we can afford it. And we could probably do a get the price. If we can afford it, do this. Like we'll make it big. So if you can't afford it and you move your mouse over it, it doesn't expand. The vending machine knows the player, right? So let's do a vending item slot. Vending item slot that vending item slot equals slot dot get component. Yep. If this character dot points is greater than or equal to vending item slot dot is it get item dot points cost. I need an else here as well. Gonna be kind of weird, but that, right? Do we make it big? We know we can afford it now if we click the button. And how do we purchase things? Item, selected item equals null. If input, if you hit up, then selected item equals that. We take the cost away and we receive the item. And this is going to be vending item slot dot get item, like that. Yeah, I'm gonna use that 3 times, but that's fine. Okay, and that might be it. I might be able to purchase things now. The in-game economy is moving right along. Has he always not been able to move unless he has a gun in his hand? Okay. Oh, check it out. Link. Link. Although there's this, I am like able to select 2 at a time. So let's fix that. I think that's probably here. It's just something like that. Player character. So basically, I think the gun is what turns the player. Surely it's not the collectible, right? It's either going to be player movement, maybe. I'm wondering why the player stopped turning to face the cursor when he doesn't have a gun. Is walking. This is right and left keys. Somewhere I set the flipping of the sprite. There's the desired animations. Get snap X. I don't even remember what that does. So it's got to just be in player character. So I can't get a list of where this is used unless I do like a copy find this variable, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it's current project find all. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's this flip X, because it's all just the text. Oh, so it is in each individual gun. I don't like that. If input.mouse position .x is greater than the screen width, that's how I decide to flip the player gun link instance.character. Yeah. That's not. It's not gonna fly. Not anymore. I can flip the sprite render of the gun. Input.mouse position X is greater than. Shouldn't I use the player arm? That's a thing, right? There's an arm. Crud. Oh, I'm not going to worry about that right now. I will make a note of it though. In my documents, maybe. To do, when given the player an item for another item, supply a vector 3 to be the destination of the item when the player is swapping. Okay, maybe vending machines don't have a destination position, but a warning that you'll lose the current item. Yeah, so what's going to happen there if you have 2 weapons already and you try to purchase a weapon, you're going to have to drop the one that you're holding. Does it just go away? Because it's going to be in the way of another player coming along and trying to use the vending machine when your item is in the way. It'll pick up, it'll start swapping. So maybe you just lose it. Here. Currently, the guns are controlling if the player sprite is flipped or not. Let's put that in the player movement script instead. And then the gun can check if the player is flipped to know if the gun sprite should be flipped. There might be some 1 frame offsets, but 1 frame difference, so like where the player flips and then the gun flips. I don't think I'll have time to get to that though tonight, because I don't expect this to work. Oh, there's still that. I got a gun, guys. So I need to. What do? Do I just give it to the player? I don't, right? When I purchase it, it needs to set the item. Of the vending machine. And that's when I can display the timer. So not like the disappearing timer, but like the maybe like a circle thing that goes around that shows the progress of it loading the thing that you purchased. So it doesn't get given yet to the player. However, purchase the item, set the loading of the item. So stuff will have to be here. We want to we have the variable, right? This item. So this item equals vending slot dot get item. Like that. And then just for the sake of making sure that's gonna work, what's going down? So I have it so that I can approach this. I hit E to bring up a list of items that I can purchase from it. I use the mouse currently to select the one I want. I click a button. I'm gonna try 3. I click on one, and then currently it just gives it to the player, but I want there to be a delay, so it's got to like do a thing before the player can get it. But I'll show you. I might have to end soon. It's almost midnight. So I hit E. I'm not holding it down. I just tap it. And these things pop up. And when I move my mouse over one, it gets bigger than the others. And maybe it should be even more bigger. I don't know. But they all have green backgrounds because I can afford them all. I assume the logic works if I set prices on these, that the ones I can't afford will be red backgrounds, and they won't get big when I move the mouse over them. And then I just click on the one that I want, and I got it. So when I click though, I do need to hide them all and start the process of loading the item that I purchased. So the logic is going to be that the machine is unusable while it's loading. When it's done loading, there has to be some other interaction to actually take the gun. If I move away from the vending machine, another player can come along and take the gun instead of me, as long as I'm not standing in front of it. And there's a timer that gun will disappear after a while, and if nobody takes it, and then it kind of resets for somebody else to try and purchase from. Cool. But for now, let's hide all the things. I have a loop already that hides them. That's this one. If I do that, I purchase it. So we're gonna hide the items GUI like that for each game object slot. Oh. Well then. Slot 2. I'm going to go in ahead and make it 1.33 times as big, so it's more evident that the mouse is over it. This also, if you're still listening, gives me, I changed the vending machine to have more than 4 slots. It now has a non-predefined limit. The mental limit, though, is just how much room I have. Okay, I like it. Click, I got it. So hitting E now while I'm in front of it, I have to, what do I have to leave and come back? Cool. Yeah. All right, I'm gonna take these 3 guns. I'm just gonna hide them. And then what I'll do is I will sign off and I will create another video, at least of this, purchasing the items from the vending machine. Cool. All right. Thank you all for hanging out and stopping by, and I will see you all next time.